Hello guys, in this video we will talk about organizing your day-to-day schedule after you did your planning for the year and after you decided what will be your routine for the week and for the day for the next 3 months. If you have done those things, planning your day-to-day schedule will be quite easy. I will spend a little bit of time to show you how you can move your tasks from your yearly planning to your day-to-day schedule, and then I will share with you some things that I do and that really help me to stay organized and moving forward with my tasks, so you can see it, and if something seems helpful for you, you can use it. This is part of a free YouTube series for creating a clear vision and an organized plan for your life ahead. You can find a link with all of the topics so far in the description below. In this training, I will start directly with showing you how these parts look like in the Excel spreadsheet and in the live software, although we will be working mostly in the Excel. If you haven't chosen a tool for creating and working on your vision, there is a link in the description below with the 3 options that I'm giving you for this training. As usual, the way I do this part of the training and any other part is just an example because it can be done in many different ways. So when I show you something, if you feel like there is a better, more easy way for you to do what I'm doing and for transferring the task in this case, experiment with it and see if it works for you. My only recommendation usually is to not make it more complicated. If you notice that you start making it more complicated, use it the way I'm showing you, and then with time you will see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You can experiment with different ways to do it, and then you will develop your own way of doing things in a way that's actually easy and pleasant for you. Okay, so in the yearly part on the right side here, I write down everything that I'm working on for this year, no matter if it's something big or something small, something work-related or personal, everything. I write it down as detailed as possible, but still in a short form, so it doesn't take too much space. And then when I transfer my task to my day-to-day schedule, this is where I actually make a very detailed description about this particular task. Then in the month part here, I write down only the overall area I'm working on, some events or something bigger that I have during the months, so I can keep this area a little bit more clear and simple. And then I focus on the next 3 months and I start transferring my tasks from the year plan to the day-to-day schedule. And as I mentioned, then I write down everything in a very detailed manner for each task. So let's say, for example, in the first 3 months, I will work on health, project 1 and project 2. And I will work on those things for the next 3 months. So if there is some task that I will do every single day, I usually put it only in the top amazing day, so I can keep my weekly schedule a little bit more clear. But if it's something really important for me, I will put it in the weekly schedule too. For example, if I have a big priority or to start doing some sport, like for example, this is my health goal, I will put it in my weekly schedule, let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 p.m. In this case, because I am using the beginning of the year and this is not a full week, the year is starting from Thursday, I will just use as an example the second year. But for health, like I will put 4 p.m. sport, and I will already have a clear plan what kind of sport, where I'm going and what I'm doing and everything. So I'm putting it here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I also, in the amazing top day, I will put it 6 p.m. here. Let's say I will put this another task here, movement sport. I will just move it actually. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I have it here in the amazing day, but I also have it in the weekly schedule. So I'm putting a lot more focus that this is really important for me. But if the sport is kind of a maintenance area that I already have built a routine around it, and I don't need to be really focused on it, I will just probably leave it in the amazing day and I will follow through from there. This is just the way I do it. Some people put everything on the weekly schedule and that's better for them. For me, as I said, I want to keep it a little bit more clear in the weekly area, in the weekly schedule. So I prefer just to keep most things in the amazing day and go through them. And then I keep mostly my work related stuff and something that is really important for me, meetings or something that's priority for this period, in the weekly schedule. So if it's just a maintenance area, I will just leave it in the Amazing Day tab as an information about my day. And then for the tasks that will be done weekly or monthly, I just put them in the exact day that they will happen. Like for example, as a weekly task, I have this Friday review and planning for the next week. I will mention that when we are talking about a couple of ways to keep our clarity and our organization long term. This will be a couple trainings after this one, so I will not explain this, but this is one of the weekly tasks that I do every single week, and I have it on Friday. And for example, as a monthly task, let me just find it here. Here is the budget review. We will talk about budget the next time, and here I write down at the end of the month, there is a task for budget review. You review your income, your expenses, you see ways that you can optimize your finances, and so on. So this is an example of a monthly recurring task that I just put at the end of each month, and then I move it to when I finish with this task, I just move it to the next end of the month. And other example that I can give also is our regular 3-month revision, where I put it, now this is the budget, but every 3 months we have a revision of our vision, and you have it in the Excel spreadsheet. I think in the software we haven't put it, but in the Excel spreadsheet, you have a regular task every 3 months about a revision of your vision. And this is also something that helps us keep our clarity and organization long term. And I will include that in the last training when we are talking about keeping our clarity and organization long term. But this is an example of how you put something that is regular, but throughout those 3 months, you just put it in the exact week, exact day when you want to do these tasks. Of course, when the time comes, you can change it, but the idea is that you have this task already planned in your schedule. So when the time comes, you know that this is something that it's good for you to do. All of those tasks that I told you, no matter if we are talking about for a weekly task or day-to-day task, if they are in my schedule, day-to-day schedule, when I finish with them, what I do is that I make them in some color, and coloring a task means for me that it's already done, and then I just move it to the next week. Like I will put it in Monday, and then when I'm doing my weekly planning for the next week, I will organize everything the way I want to be done, to do it in the next week. Obviously, if you have any events or meetings or things that are, you know that they will be happening for sure, you just put it in the exact day and exact week, and you know that when your schedule comes, you already know, you don't forget about meetings and so on. And sometimes if I want to remind myself about something, but I don't want to keep it in my day-to-day schedule, so it's again a little bit more clear, I make it as a Google Calendar notification, and I receive a reminder on my email. For example, I do that with reminding myself about paying bills, about paying health insurance or birthdays, some things like that, that I don't want to keep them in my day-to-day schedule, but I still want something to remind me about them. So in order to keep my day-to-day schedule clean, I just put it as a notification in Google Calendar, and then it sends me a reminder as an email in my Gmail. So as I said, let's say very simple, my priorities for the next 3 months are health, project 1, and project 2, some kind of work project. So when I'm transferring, we already transferred the health part. It will be focused on sport. So I hear just sport, and I define going to sport, going to the gym, let's say, or Pilates or yoga, or whatever you decide is good for you. Going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 p.m. And I decided this is my goal for health. And we already moved that one time in the Amazing Day and another time in the exact week, because I want to be focused on that task, and I want to make sure that this is something that I will look at as priority. But then when I'm moving my projects, let's say project 1 and project 2, I let's say, decide for my week that I will work on Monday and Tuesday on project 1 and Wednesday and Thursday project 2. And I will leave it like this. If for the project, I usually for the project, I keep it like the name of the project above, and underneath I write down all of the steps that I need to do about this project. And if I don't know the steps, I'm not sure, I'm confused, I don't know what to do about this project that I want to work on, I will first make a task that is creating clarity, which means researching, gathering information, and just doing things that I think will be helpful for me in order to understand better what I need to do about this project so I can create this step-by-step plan. It is best to separate this clarity part from the execution part, because some people start to work on something without having a clear plan, and then the confusion becomes really big, and they cannot really start working on this step because they don't know what the step is. So for me, it's really important first to have a separate task about creating really clear plan and step by step that I need to move forward, and then I focus just on the execution. So if you have clarity about the project and you are used to that kind of projects and you probably already know all of the steps, you just write down the steps and you focus on executing those steps. But if for some project you are not clear about what are the steps, what is the plan, first focus on creating this clarity and making this plan with each step that you need to follow through, and then focus on executing those steps. Even if you don't create clarity for all of the steps, you can create clarity for the first 1 step or 2 steps or 3 steps, and then just start moving and working on them, and with time you will create clarity for the next steps. And what I do usually is, when I for example, for these videos I have written down like this. I will do Monday recording video and preparing, I can do it like this: recording video, preparing an email for the video, and then Tuesday I can do editing the video, putting the link in the email and send it, and so on. So I make a process for, if this is repeatable, for example, for me, filming these videos is something that I'm doing on repeat every week. So Monday I usually do the script, and then I will do it the way I'm doing it in practice. But so write down the script for the video, and then I prepare the email for the video, and then on Tuesday I record the video, I edit the video, put the link in the email and send it, and I also put the link in the website. So I have a website that not only those videos are in YouTube, but also people that are working with me on with their vision, they have a platform and they have all of the videos there as well. So this is my weekly schedule for the project that for example, is this filming those videos. And when I finish what I'm doing on Monday, I usually just copy the task and I put it on Tuesday, because I will continue working on it on Tuesday. And then I actually, when I finish with the day, I put all of the day in the color that it's already, everything is already done for the day. Another thing that I used to do before, but now I feel like I don't need it. But on Friday, for example, let's put it here. On Friday, I had for a long time the task overall things. And this is something I mentioned before, but I want to mention it again here. This task, whenever I'm working on my project or whenever I'm working on something that's important for me during the day, and something comes up, like somebody tell me something, or I receive a thought about something or an idea, instead of stopping everything that I'm doing and starting researching things about what I heard or what is my idea, I just write it down here. So let's say idea 1, or sharing from a friend. The idea is I'm not starting to do it immediately. I'm not wasting my time immediately. I leave it till Friday. So what you will see is that whenever you go to Friday, you will realize that a lot of those things are already lost their spark, and you don't feel like you need to invest time to do those things. So the big difference is that when this idea or sharing from a friend come to you, and in the moment you are really excited and you start working on it. And a lot of times these are just wasting your time. There are very few things that start to build up with time and they become something bigger that you actually want to invest your time. So it's like a little bit buying impulse. I'm not buying things the moment I see them in the shop. I wait, I sleep 1, 2, 3 days, and then I realize, do I really want to buy them? I was jumping in a lot of shiny objects. I did that task for me, and I wrote down everything that was coming up during the week. And then on Friday, I review everything and I decide whether something is really important and I want to invest some time to research about this or just disregard it. And you will be just really surprised how most of the things just can be disregarded, but in the moment when they arise, they seem really exciting and really inspirational, and you feel kind of obligated to spend time on them. So this is my way of handling instincts that waste my time, and this is something that now I do kind of automatically. When something arises, I don't immediately invest time on it, but if something comes up in my mind over and over again, I write it down and I just start to research in order to see if there is something more about this. But in the beginning, I needed to train myself to not jump into it immediately. So creating this task on Friday was really helpful for me. When you put all of your tasks in your day-to-day schedule, obviously this is really simplified day-to-day schedule, but when you put all of your tasks, you can take into consideration those hours here, and you put, let's say, task 2, task 3, task 4, and you take into consideration when exactly they are happening. Or the other option is you put the task, if they are really not time sensitive, you put all of the tasks one under the other, and you put only the tasks that are really sensitive about time with time here. This is the way I use it at the moment, because I really don't want to see all of my tasks spread in the week with a lot of space between them. But for some people, it's actually a lot more easier to look about their day-to-day schedule and just see the time that they have free, like here and here and here. So it really depends how you prefer to organize your day-to-day schedule. For me, I don't like these spaces between, and most of the things I do are not time sensitive. So for me, I really prefer to do it one after the other, and only if something is really time sensitive, I will put it with a 4 p.m. I will state the hour that is here. For some people, they like that approach, and for some people, as I said, it's a lot more easier and a lot better if they have this visual of when they have space of time during the day. If you have more things to do, you can obviously add some rows, and you can change the hours here. So in the Alive software, I think the hours here are not changeable. This is something that maybe we will improve with the next update. But here in the Excel spreadsheet, you can do it, and you can organize it and shape it exactly the way you want. See what works for you and decide how you want to visualize your tasks during the day. Either way, it's like really, really powerful, and keeps you organized when you know which task is after the other, and you have everything written down in your day that you need to do. At the end, when you transfer everything, you need to have all of the tasks that you have planned here for the next 3 months. You need to you have to transfer them, all of them, in the weekly schedule. Or if you do something every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, as I already shared, you put it in the exact week and exact day. So even if you change the day in the future while you are planning this exact week, you still will have a reminder about this task. So the way it looks like for me in practice, personally, I will share with you how I do it, and then you can decide how to do it for yourself. You can experiment. But the way I do it, I start with the day. I do, let's say, a morning routine. And by the way, and one of the things that I really love in the Amazing Day tab is that you can write down things that you want to remind yourself. Like, for example, here in this example of the Amazing Day, I wrote down nothing is emergency, learn to ignore. So this is something that I was practicing really, really long time, and especially around minimalism and clothing for a long time, that I was training myself not to act on my impulses, because it doesn't matter if it's cloth relating or task relating. We have those impulses that we need to jump into something, to give our money or to give our time or to give our whatever it is, energy into something. So for me, it was really kind of important to train myself in not jump into things. So for a long time, I had this nothing is emergency, learn to ignore. And we ignore with pleasure, not with the sense of missing out. But if you, for example, something is present for you at the moment and you want to remind yourself about something, you can write it down here. So I remind myself different things. For example, at the moment, I also write down that I want to make my face routine with some facial exercise and some massage. So this is also something that I put in my routine. Then I go through messages, emails, something that I want to respond. And then I have this task for deep work. And I go here, when I come to the task for work, I go to the schedule and I see, okay, these are my tasks for today that I need to follow through. I put my timer, 50 minutes working time, 10 minutes rest, and then I just start the timer and I focused at least 4 hours to have about going through everything that is work related. So I go through this project, I go to this project, and I follow the timer, go through this project, and then when I finish that, when I finish my projects, I go to the day again. Obviously, I have a lunch. I go to the day again, and I know that at 3 o'clock I will be finishing. And at 3 o'clock again, I look at the messages, emails, for the emails, or if you're going through Facebook groups or Instagram pages or whatever, it's really good to have that planned instead of jumping into it all the time, all of the day. So I have planned only two like windows in the day that I go through messages and emails and Facebook groups. So it's more than enough. You don't need to jump into it every second. And then I review and plan the next day. And then this is my reminder here for the sport, but I also have the reminder here because, as I said, we will make it as a priority for the next 3 months. And then I go to sport, and then when I come back, I then do, let's say, some mindset work. For example, maybe some journaling, maybe some gratitude, or if I'm feeling really negative, I can write down all of the negative things that I'm thinking about, all of the fears or whatever it is, whatever mindset practice you have for the day. And then learning, maybe I will be listening 30 minutes something, maybe I will go for a walk while I am learning, and then you go through the whole day. This is how I'm following through. Basically, for me, most of the things that I put in my day-to-day schedule are work related, plus something that is really important, some meeting or the priority for this 3 months. Everything else is mostly in the Amazing Day, and I follow through from there because I don't want to write everything the same in my week. And because I think this is working mostly because most of the things I do are not time sensitive, but for people that have a lot of things that are time sensitive, they probably will be better for them to have everything in their schedule. Again, you need to experiment and see what works for you and what will feel good for you as well. I try to follow this plan 80% of the time, and the rest 20% I just allow myself to not follow the plan, and just some chaos maybe started or something happened that it just blew away my plan. As I said, we don't make a plan to strictly and rigidly follow the plan. We make the plan as a way to have something to align to when things become chaotic. So whenever some chaos arise and I'm just into it, whenever I feel like there is a better time to engage again and start following my plan, I just align to my plan and start following it again. And then after all of the week let's say everything in the week is already done, and I already planned my next week, and I know the plan for the next week is already done, then I just do, let's say this week is already done, so I hide it. And when everything is done, I go here and I hide the week. This function is also available in the Live software with hide weeks, because basically you don't want to have so many weeks here that are already done. For me, one of the great things about having a day-to-day schedule, except that it creates clarity, it creates organization, it creates predictability. You create that for yourself, and you create basically a lot more safety during the day for yourself. But also it creates self-accountability, something that I mentioned before. You don't rely on external people or external things to keep you accountable and follow through with things. You build a schedule that keeps you accountable, remind you about things, and you have a clear plan. This is what keeps you accountable, self-accountable. If you keep everything in your head, it's very easy to disregard it. But when you have a plan and follow through your plan, like each hour to hour or each task after task, then it's not easy to see it and disregard it. Like, as I said, if something happened, you go and put a color on it. But if something doesn't happen and you don't do it, you decide to procrastinate, let's say task 1, you don't just move to the next thing and leave it like that. No, if you procrastinate for this task, you take it and you put it in the next day that you decide that you will follow through with this, and then you mark it as done. So it's really not easy to disregard things when you have it black on white in your schedule. And another thing that really helped me with procrastination is that if I procrastinate one task, I have a rule for myself that I can procrastinate something at most 3 times. And on the 4th time, I just execute it without any mental negotiation. So let's say, for example, I come on Tuesday and I decide, oh, I don't want to do it again today. So I put it, let's say, on Friday. And on Friday it comes and I like, I really don't want to do it. And then I allow myself to procrastinate something 3 times. And on the 4th time, there is no mental negotiations. I just wake up and start doing this thing. So let's say on Friday, I decide I don't want to do it. I will put it on Monday, the first thing I will do. And when I do my plan for the week, I will know that this is with a high priority. And when the day comes, I wake up and just start doing it. It doesn't matter that I want to procrastinate it again. So having a plan and having some kind of a rule for yourself can help you stay really self-accountable and follow up with things, do things that you want to do. All right, that's about for this video. It might seem a little bit messy, and sometimes it is messy. You will find your way of how it's best for you to transfer your tasks, but just experiment with the things that I showed you, adjust the way it fits you, and you will find your way to do this very quickly. Now, take your time and transfer all of the tasks that you have planned for yourself for the next 3 months from your yearly plan to your day-to-day schedule. Experiment, see what works for you, either to have most of your daily routine in an amazing day or having all of your tasks in the day-to-day schedule. Planning and organizing your year, your week, your day, and your day-to-day schedule can look in many different ways. A lot of people think that planning should look in a particular way that you have in mind and that you don't like it. And sometimes that's why you don't want to do planning, because you have this idea of how it should look like and you don't like it. But planning and organizing your time can happen in many different ways, and one of those ways or many of those ways will fit you and will feel good to you. And most importantly, they will help you stay focused, stay aligned, and stay moving forward with what is actually important for you. When you find your way to plan and organize your time, you will see that planning and organization doesn't limit your spontaneity, but it actually helps you to have enough time to be spontaneous and more free in your day-to-day. Because all of this organization creates structure and predictability for you, which means it creates feeling of safety for you. That way you do what you have to do in a more calm and more stable manner, and you actually have more capacity to be free and spontaneous during the day. When you are reactive and you do things without any plan, then almost everything is stressful and you are more concerned about surviving rather than thinking in a free and spontaneous way. This training is the last training about planning your time. So you have a tool like the Excel spreadsheet or the software that helps you take everything that you have in your head and put it in paper or let's say on screen so you can see it clearly and be able to organize it in a way that really fits you. You have a plan for the year, you know what your focus is for the next 3 months. You have a clear routine for your week and for your day, and now you have your day-to-day schedule. This is your vision. Having a clear vision and an organized plan means that your life is not something that happens just somehow anymore. It is something that you have intentionally chosen for yourself. It is something with a clear direction. And from now on, one of the benefits you will have also is that you will have a very clear reference point of how to make a better decision. For everything that you are wondering, you can ask yourself, does that lead me to my vision that I want, or it moves me away from it? If you don't have a vision, you do not have a clear reference point of how to make aligned decisions because you don't have to what to align to. But when you have a vision, this is your North Star. This is your reference point. Does it move me towards my vision or does it move me away from my vision? Realizing this helps you feel that even that life is unpredictable, you still have some control of where to focus and where you are headed instead of being pulled in so many different directions that chaos can take you. When you feel lost, you can just read your vision, remind yourself what you want, remind yourself where you are headed, and bring yourself again into alignment to what you want. Along the way, your vision will become a lot more clearer and clearer. And of course, every 3 months, you will do a revision, and whenever a change is necessary, you will be able to make it. Okay, if you have any questions or comments about creating your day-to-day schedule, leave them in the comments below and I will answer. In the next video, I will be talking about organizing your finances. Then we will have one training about mindset, and then we will finish with 3 ways to keep your clarity and organization long term. You can find a link with all of the trainings so far in the description below. And if you want to receive those trainings in your inbox or information from me, you can sign up in my email list, which is a link again in the description below. Subscribe and like this video. This is helping me a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and will also help other people to see the video and start creating more clarity and organization in their life. I will see you in the next video.